Hey, friend, I decided to embark on a journey to reinvent and transform my life in 2022. And I want to take you along for the ride. So stay tuned because for the next 10 weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you this amazing journey as I go through the Unleash Her Power Within program powered by Tony Robbins. Welcome back. We are in week 10 of the Unleash Her Power Within. This is the last week officially of the program. But the journey doesn't end here. But I can't help myself to have mixed feelings. It's bittersweet to get to this point because it's been an amazing journey. And I'm so grateful I got the opportunity to get to participate in this cohort of the Unleash Her Power Within. It's been an amazing experience, and I just don't want it to end. So, I want to wrap up this series of episodes where I've been documenting my journey through this program and share with you um, this week 10. Week 10 is, it's, as I said, the last week officially of the program. For 10 weeks, we've been in this journey of creating awareness, remembering who we truly are, and stepping into our new selves. And week 10, it's all about creating lasting change, is the last phase of the program, which is transformation and creating momentum and sustaining that change that we've made. Every time that I've attended to any kind of program, and again, this program, it's not a training. It's an immersion, is an experience. So it is different, right? But um a lot of times if you go to events, you leave the event being pumped up, right? And maybe inspired or motivated, but then like a balloon, it deflates quickly after that once you get back into your life. And I love how this program is structured because I can see how this, differently than many other things that I've done in the past, is something that can actually create lasting change. So, week 10 is all about this, creating lasting change. And we start with a quote like we do every week. And this week's quote was: "The path to success is to take massive, determined action." And this week, what we talk about is how can we adjust our patterns and our habits of behavior for the good? And how can we use those techniques to influence ourselves, but not only ourselves, but also the people around us, our families, our colleagues, our communities? And basically how we can make this change sustainable in our lives. And I love that because, as I said, there's many programs that I've been in the past, and then you get out of the program and that's it. That's the end of it. And with UHPW and UPW, I think it's just the beginning of a journey. For sure, for me, this is just the beginning. I mean, it's amazing how the more that you learn, the more you realize how little you know. And in this case, applies to myself, of all these patterns that I have over the years, or these layers of limiting beliefs, all these rules that I had for myself that I've been sharing here with you in this journey. So I'm excited for the next steps. I am excited to get to this point and have gone through this experience, but I'm sad that it's ending the part where every Monday we're getting together and we're working on this. So, what did we do in week 10 to create this lasting change? Was, first of all, we start with self reflection. And I love that part about the program, that it has such a high content of self reflection. I would say the entire program is self reflection. But I love it because I truly believe, and you have heard me say this before, that self reflection is what creates self awareness, which is the foundation for growth. There's the foundation for transformation. So we started the reflection thinking about, you know, where are we today versus where we were 10 weeks out ago? What has shifted? What has changed? What have we noticed? What can we appreciate? And what has happened because of this program? And I'll tell you, for me personally, I came into this program. Yes, I had told myself 2022 is my year of reinvention. And I think I truly didn't knew what that meant, to be completely honest, before I joined this program. When we did, and I share this with you when I share the summary of Unleash the Power Within, week one of the Unleash Her Power Within, we did the Wheel of Life assessment. And I had rated myself pretty good in almost every area of my life. And what I realized is that maybe I'm not doing as good as I thought I was doing. And not because I'm worse, but because now I'm more aware of all these things that I've learned over the last 10 weeks, going deeper into all these things. I really didn't knew what to expect when I joined this program. Um, and I think what I realized is that I had forgotten who I was at my core. I was living my life thinking that I was in pursuit of success, but really, what I learned is that what matters is fulfillment and not success. And during the program, the biggest impact for me was that I found myself. You know, how many times you say, I want to be my true authentic self. And I realized that I don't know what that means anymore, or I didn't knew what that means anymore. We are so buried. I was so buried under all my limiting beliefs and all the rules that I have imposed on myself that I didn't knew what my authentic self looked like anymore, because I had all these patterns that I've been practiced for so long because of what I thought it was expected of me, because of what I thought society expected of us and me in particular, because of how I thought I needed to show up in order to be seen, to be heard, to be successful. That the way I was showing up, it wasn't my true self. Of course, there were aspects of my true self coming out, but not fully my true self. And there were aspects of my true self that had been buried under all these beliefs that I had on how I was supposed to act and how I was supposed to show up. I've shared in previous podcast episodes a little bit about my journey professionally. And I've been very, extremely lucky, um, extremely fortunate to have great mentors, great sponsors in my career. I had the opportunity to take on a really big role very early in my career. And because of that, I was the youngest and the only woman in almost every team that I was part of for a long time. I guess, as one of my mentors told me, don't worry about that. That will self correct by itself. Time will take care of that. And that is so true. But at the moment, that's how I felt. And I felt I had to show up a certain way in order to be heard, in order to be seen, in order to be respected, in order for others to respect me in that role as that young little woman that could be anyone's daughter or granddaughter. And I told myself all these stories on how I needed to show up. in order to be seen as capable and be seen as professional and polished and um yeah. I don't know if you listening right now can relate to this, and maybe for you that meant something different, but how many times we try to adjust who we are or how we show up just because of the environment around us, and not even what other people expect of you, but it's all in our heads, is what we think other people expect of us, not what they really expect of us, because no one told me that I should do certain things. I did them because I developed this belief that that's what I should be doing. But anyway, during this journey, during the last 10 weeks, I found myself that was buried under all those limiting beliefs, around all those rules that I have made up for myself. And I also find out, and to my surprise, to a certain extent, and probably to the surprise of those who truly know me, that I had lowered my standards, that I have settled in certain areas of my life. And if you know me, you're like rolling your eyes right now, because I know people see me as someone that has really high standards for herself. And that is true. But I think now I see it a little bit differently. And uh, yeah, I think that the reason why I had lowered my standards is just so I could feel good with myself. Um, I noticed that now I am so much more aware, and awareness has been a big gift of this program. I'm just aware of my patterns. I'm aware of the beliefs that are sometimes holding me back from being truly myself. And it's funny because I don't know if I believe in coincidence or not, but there's been a lot of coincidence in my life lately. And, things that happen in your life that you're like, gosh, this is a coincidence. Like, this is a beautiful coincidence. And that is that in the middle of this program, so this was a 10-week program. Right after I started the program, or a little bit after starting the program, I got the opportunity to switch jobs. And basically, through the duration of the program, I was going through making that decision and transitioning from my previous job to my new job. And if you listen to a podcast episode that I did around, is it time to make a career move? I think that one of the big reasons why I decided to make that decision, which was a hard decision for me, if you listen to that podcast episode, I share a little bit more of my thought process around that. But one of the reasons why I decided to make this shift is because I was starting through this program to discover or rediscover or remember who I'm truly are. And I was like, I want to go back to who I'm truly are. And I felt that switching jobs and starting fresh would give me the opportunity to just expedite that process. Not that I couldn't change in my previous job, but and maybe this is also a limiting belief on my part, but I thought, I can't just come one day to work and act differently or be a different person around people that have known me for 13 years. And starting a new job will be a fresh start. And from day one, I can embrace this true self. And it's been an amazing experience. I will share more on a podcast episode on my experience, my onboarding experience into the new job. I'm 30 days into my new job, and it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing because it's an amazing company and I have an amazing team around me, and everyone is so welcoming. And I feel so free and liberated that I can show up as my true authentic self. And now, really, that true authentic self. So, that is one of my big takeaways from UHPW, one of the big transformations for me. The other big thing for me that has happened because of UHPW is that I go by my day asking myself, what what 2 millimeter shift can I make today? And this mindset of always pushing 2 millimeters beyond where my comfort zone is, where I would normally stop, push 2 more millimeters in the things that I'm doing, has been magical. Like, totally magical. But I think I shared on my overview and my key takeaways from Unleash the Power Within that the difference between bad and good is a quantum leap. And between good and excellent is another quantum leap. But between excellent and exceptional, it's just a 2 millimeter shift. And that has been so ingrained in my mind through this program, through the last 10 weeks, that I'm constantly asking myself. And I think that the quality of your life, the quality of your results and your fulfillment and your success comes from, or starts, or steams from your thoughts. And the way to change your thoughts, which will change the way you show up, it will change your mindset, it will change your habits, it will change your actions, is by changing the quality of the questions that you ask to yourself. When you are in a situation, instead of asking, gosh, why is this so bad? Why is this happening to me? Or questions like that, if you shift that to, what can I learn from this? Or what is the 2 millimeter shift that I can make here to push this from excellent to exceptional to outstanding? That makes a whole difference in how you show up and how you take action. And you go from taking extra small action to extra large action. And that's what I've been seeing. And it's only taking like 2 millimeters, really small shifts, to create this extra large actions that are creating so much momentum right now for me personally. So that was my reflection on the last 10 weeks. Then we did a beautiful exercise. So on week, I think was 4, was mentor vision. And if you want to go back and listen to that podcast episode, that was a powerful one for a lot of people and for me as well, because we identify role models that we have, and we describe why they were our role models. What are the things that we admire in these people? And then we learn that we are all mirrors from each other. So when someone does something that ticks you, that upsets you, that you're like, that person that is always late to a meeting and always delivers work late, or that person that is never paying attention when you're talking, like it really ticks you. That is a mirror that there's something like that going on with you, right? But the same is true the other way around. And when we identify these role models and we identify why we admire us, the only reason why we were able to identify those things in those people is because those things are inside us. And maybe we haven't brought those things to the surface, or they're underdeveloped, but they're in us. Otherwise, we would not notice it in other people. So that was a really powerful exercise on week 4. And this week, we did the Mentor Vision 2.0. And basically, we looked through the eyes of our kids or our younger selves or the next generation of young people, and looking at, from their eyes, who have we been for them? What can they say about us? What do they admire about us? What have they learned through our example? And this was a really powerful exercise, like for me to try to look at myself from the eyes of my kids and answering those questions. Whoa, that was something. And, I came up with things that I think my kids would admire in me or admiring me. And it remind me of my daughter. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and there's many times that she's like, "Mom, you're the best mom on the world." And that just melts my heart. And, sometimes we are our worst critics, but the things that we criticize about ourselves, the things that, we beat ourselves up in our minds about ourselves are things that other people admire, other people respect. And that is so, so powerful. And finally, KK shared with us 3 steps for lasting change. So, 3 things that we can do to keep the momentum going and to create this lasting change. And I want to share them with you. So, the first one is change. So, change is going to come in many ways. And you want to change, we want to share that change with others, not just talk about it, but also displaying the benefits of the transformation. And, when she's like, you probably are talking about this program and sharing with everyone how great this program is. And I was raising my hand and I'm like, yes, that's me. I'm actually not only sharing with my friends, but I am or my family, but I'm sharing with everyone that listens to my podcast. And she's like, well, stop talking and start displaying the benefits of the transformation. Meaning our acts, our actions speak louder than our words. And truly, I truly believe that. But if we live in service because we have realigned our needs based on the 6 human needs that I explained last week, with a bigger change, it also comes or brings a bigger judgment. So we need to just double down on love. And that means, when we change, other people are going to feel uncomfortable because we change. And it's not because how we're changing or the fact that we're changing. It's just a natural reaction to change. And I think we're going to get judged maybe or push back on things because we are showing up differently. But we need to focus on us and on displaying this new self that we have rediscovered through this last 10 weeks. And I think this is very powerful because, it's been 10 weeks, but all those limiting beliefs, all those rules, all those things that we've been working on have been there with us for years, for decades, right? And we can't expect to change in 10 days what it took decades to build. So it's gonna be, we're gonna face challenges on people pushing back on the way we're changing. And that is gonna push us to revert back to the old behaviors and the old self. And the key is to focus on ourselves and focus on what we think is true to us. And just on displaying the changes, and not only the changes but the benefits. And I think it's a big difference between displaying the change and displaying the benefit. We need to keep in mind the people around us and how can we be of service to those around us through our change. The next one is the dip. And, kind of related to what I was just saying is the fact we need to accept that we're going to experience sooner or after, or maybe we have already experienced a dip. During the 10 weeks, we experienced growth and we met every Monday and we were actively working in all those things. And now we're back to our regular lives without having this community every week to come in and check in and for accountability and for support. And we're going to experience dips. There's always dips in the path. It's not like all of a sudden we've done all this work and life is perfect and is going to stay like that forever. So she shared with us two tools that we learned through the last 10 weeks, sorry, that will help us with this. One is the belief patterns or the triggers, and I shared that. I think that was week 3, if I'm not mistaken, of the program. Maybe was, yeah, week 3. And the other thing is that now we have a formula. We had learned this triad that I also share with you a couple of times, that basically there's 3 components to that: the physiology, the focus, and the language. And we all had identified through this program our own formula. What is the combination of how we engage our physiology, what we focus on, and the language that we use when we have been successful in the past? And now we have that formula, and we can go back to that formula to use it when we are experiencing a dip. And the last one is a DCP, which stands for a daily consistency plan. Um, when it is important that we are constantly reinforcing the things that we learned and that we discover through the last 10 weeks. And the question here is, what are 1 to 3 really simple, easy actions that we can do daily that can anchor us and take us back to our new self? These are like tiny, small daily actions, but if we are consistent every day and they become part of our rituals and our habits, then they're gonna help us stay anchored to that new self that we rediscover through the last 10 weeks. And once we identify those things, which I have a lot of rituals, I love rituals, love habits. You have heard me talk about that a lot. So I'm making some small modifications to my morning routine, which I already have in place. I already waking up at 5 a.m. to do my morning routine. So making small shifts on my routine is an easy way. But and it's funny because she said, ask yourself, how can you make this easier? Right? Um, so no matter what, you can execute every day, no matter if you're on vacation, no matter if you have a bad day, no matter if you're sick, no matter what, you can do these things daily. And for me, that is just including them in my already existing routines. Because as I said, I'm already waking up early. So making a few changes into my routine is the easiest for me. I am already programmed to wake up early and do certain things in the morning. So just switching the order of things and adding new things into my routine for me is going to be the easiest way to make sure that I'm consistent in doing those things. So that is the summary of week 10. And that is the end of this chapter and the beginning of the next chapter in this reinvention process for me. As I said, this has been an amazing experience. I can really recommend anyone to join UHPW and UPW. I think it's something that everyone should be able to experience at one point in their lives. And if you want to learn more, I will add on the show notes a link to the information on the program. Right now, there is a waiting list for the next cohort. I think it starts in May. And then Unleash the Power Within, I think it's in July. So these two programs always go together. We laugh with the community. We say is like wine and cheese. Like they're amazing on their own, but when you combine the two, you create this perfect experience. And that is really what this has been for me personally, having the opportunity to be part of both programs the way that it's designed. It's been an incredible transformational experience. It's been really, I would say, very much helped me develop the self awareness and learn things about me that for some reason I had never taken the time to go that deep in rediscovering. So I'm sad that this is ending. But I hope that you have enjoyed this journey. So that is it for now. This is a wrap for the 10 weeks of this amazing journey. I want to say thank you for following along with me on this journey. You don't know this, but you have become my accountability partner. Me sharing here my journey has really helped me to stay accountable to the journey. It is a time investment and it's at night and the sessions go until late past my normal bedtime, and there is work that needs to happen between one week and the other. But when you put the work, when you go all in, is so worth it. And you joining me and along the journey has been really helpful to keep me accountable on this journey. So thank you so much. With that, this is not a goodbye because I will see you on a new episode of the Leading Yourself podcast every Monday. Remember, we have a new episode. I will see you then. And until then, have an amazing rest of your week.